Hey, Periscope. Hey, Facebook. I had to log off and come back on. My Facebook live stream just totally shut down on my business page, so I had to come to my personal page. Hey, S. Johnson, so lovely on Periscope. Hey, the Wives Society. Hey, Lakia. Hey, thank you for joining me, guys. I got froze out of my last part, out of part 1, so I had to come on part 2. I had to shut it down and come back. Same thing on Facebook, guys. If you are tuning in on Facebook, thank you for tuning in with me tonight and catching part 2 of The Power of the D. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. If you're on Periscope, you can swipe to the right, share this out to your followers, and double tap the screen to show me some love and give me some hearts. If you are on Facebook, you can share this broadcast out to your followers and tap that blue thumbs up like symbol, all right, so that we can help spread the word. The more likes and engagement we get, the more we spread the word and the more the video is seen. Okay, so we're going to continue. We're talking about the power of the D. So if you caught part 1, then you know that the D stands for decisions, the power of the decisions. And so we talked about initially, what is your purpose for a relationship? Before you go into a relationship, you have the power to decide what the purpose of the relationship is. You have the power to decide who you enter into a relationship with. So what's your purpose? Thank you, S. Johnson, so lovely, for inviting your followers on Periscope. What's your purpose? You should have a purpose. If you don't have a clear purpose for what you're doing, then all you're going to do is waste your time. And you're also going to end up in a situation where you're going to end up wondering, how did I get here? And that's because you didn't have a clear purpose. Hello, Struggle to Strength on Periscope. Thanks for joining. Hey, y'all on Facebook. Thanks for joining for part 2. All right. So what's your purpose? You must always have a purpose in your relationship. So is your purpose companionship? Are you looking for a spouse? Are you lonely and you're just settling for Mr. Right Now? Like, we have to be honest about what it is that we want and why we want it, and why we are doing the things that we're doing. So if you say that you want a spouse, but you are steadily in friends with benefits situations, or you're in situations in which the status of the relationship has not been identified, you're not in alignment with where you say you want to go. So you always have to have a purpose. And if your purpose is just companionship, you need to make sure that you take a mental note to say, I'm going to just do this for this amount of time because this is the purpose of this. I don't want a relationship right now. I'm really not trying to have sex right now, but it's cool to have somebody to go out to eat with and go to the movies with and talk on the phone with. But at the same time, you have to remember, is that energy that you could be putting towards something else that's going to be more fruitful if you say that you want a spouse. You understand what I'm saying? So everything that you do must directly align with where you say that you want to go, where you say you want to go. You must have your purpose and your focus clear and defined for who you bring into your life and how long you keep them in your life and what the purpose of them being in your life is for. But above all, be honest about what it is that you want and why you want it, so that at the end of the day, you don't have any regrets and you're not sitting up in a situation wondering, what is going on? How did I get here? I am so unhappy. Which leads me to my next point, toxic relationships. Some of us are in situations and in relationships. Hey, Zach on Facebook, are in relationships where we're unhappy and things are going on that we don't like. And the question is, you have to identify what type of toxic behaviors is your significant other demonstrating that you don't like. What about it do you dislike? And the most important thing, why are you deciding to stay when you're complaining about it? The thing about it is, if you're in an unfruitful situation that doesn't make you feel good, you have the power to decide something different for yourself. You have the power of the D. You have the power to decide something different for yourself. Why aren't you operating in that power? Why are you accepting the toxicity that's going on, knowing that it doesn't make you feel good, and you're getting on the phone talking to your friends about it. You're getting on the phone, crying about it. And it's not what you want. You have the power to decide something different for yourself. What is it that's holding you back? What is it that's making you decide not to decide something different? Decide on something different for yourself. The thing about it is, if you're going to stay in a situation, don't complain about it, because you already know what it is. 9 times out of 10, you know who that person is. You know what type of things they do. You know what they're going to continue doing. And you know that no matter how much you cry, no matter how much you complain about it, no matter how much you pour your feelings out, they're going to continue doing them. So when are you going to do you and exercise the power of the D and decide something different for yourself? These are things we have to ask ourselves. Okay? So be clear on what it is you want, why you want it. And if you're deciding to stay in a situation that is unhealthy for you and does not make you feel good, identify the real reason behind why you're staying. Come to terms with that. And at some point, find the strength enough to break free and walk away. Okay? Number 2, okay? Let's talk about the waiting in the dating game and the power of the D. When we're single in our single lives and we are either waiting for a spouse or we are dating around to try to find a spouse, please remember, you have the power of the D. You have the power to decide. You hold the power. You have the power to decide who you want to date, how you want to meet them, whether you want to meet them in person, whether you want to meet them online, whether you want to meet them with a friend, through a friend. And you also have the power to decide the parameters of your courtship, your datingship, your relationship. You have the power. Nobody can do anything to you that you don't want. Okay? You have the power to screen people before you get too involved with them. Exercise that power. Don't take it for granted. A lot of times, us as women will give too much too soon. We'll give too much information. We'll give too much of our heart too soon, too much of our emotions. We'll become sexually active with somebody that we barely know too soon. And then, once you get lust all involved and you get sex involved before the relationship is even ready for that, before you really know this person, now you've opened up this whole can of worms and you don't even know this person's character. So when their character does come out, when they start doing things that are red flags, you already emotionally tied to them. You're spiritually connected to them because you done went and had sex. Especially if the sex is good, it's hard to walk away. Let's be honest. Let's be frank about it. Okay? And here you are, you've gotten yourself in a situation, yet once again, that is not productive and it's not leading you to where you want to go ultimately, which is pure, solid companionship and relationship that's leading to marriage, because you've given up too much too soon. But still remember, you have the power of the D. You have the power to make the decision to change things or to walk away completely. Now they say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but wanting different results. Okay? So if you want different results, at some point you're going to have to choose to do things differently than you have done in the past. So what I want you to do is do an inventory of your relationships. Think about the relationships, who was involved, how long they lasted, and think about why they ended. Why did the relationship end? I want you to write it down. Your significant other's role in the demise of the relationship and your role. And I want you to look at the patterns from relationship to relationship to relationship. Look at your patterns in terms of how relationships went and see what it is you need to change so that you can get a different result. The only way that we can improve and create change in our lives is to start analyzing ourselves, looking at ourselves, why we do the things we do, and assessing what we need to do differently to get a different result. Okay? The third power of the D, okay, is sex. Sex is a real part of a relationship. Okay? The topic is going to come up at some point in time. Whether it's going to come up, hey, I'm abstinent, or whether it's going to come up, let's take this relationship to the next level. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to preach to anybody and tell you what you should do. However, I'm going to give you some facts. At the end of the day, whether or not you get involved with someone sexually is a personal decision. And when you get involved with them sexually is a personal decision. We just have to remember that everything that we do has a consequence, and that consequence can be either positive or negative. If you know that you have a habit of having sex with people too quickly and it yields a negative consequence, maybe you might want to switch that up and do something differently and in a different way. Okay? The thing about having sex with people that you're dating, especially when the relationships start off strong and then they fizzle out, you're increasing your body count, which means it's like you're increasing the number of people that you have sex with. You are increasing your spiritual soul ties. A lot of people forget that the Bible states, how the two become one and they're one flesh. That's what happens when you have sex. You're taking two bodies that are joining themselves and energetically flowing energy back and forth through each other through the act of making love. So even when the sexual act is over, that spiritual imprint is still on you because you are spiritually connected to this person and you have a soul tie. So, we wonder why we start taking on traits of people that we've dated. While we may even start resembling them in the physical, while we may start acting like them. It goes a lot deeper than just being around them. If you've had sex with them, that means that you have literally conjoined your spirit with theirs. Okay? And so these are things that we have to be mindful of when we are in relationships and when we're out here in the dating world and this and this and that and that and that. And, after months or after a couple of years, you feel like you just start feeling icky and you don't know why. It's because you got all these spiritual imprints from all these random different people on you. And you need to find a way to break those spirits off of you. A lot of times we don't even, a lot of times we may be trying to move forward in our personal lives, in our professional lives, and we don't understand what the hindrance is. And it could be because you have a negative spirit attached to you from years ago that's literally draining you. And the only way that you can break those spirits off of you is through fasting and prayer. Okay? Like going into fasting, a period of fasting and cleansing and rejuvenation. Becoming whole with yourself, getting in line with what God wants you to do. Not just repeating the same cycle over and over and over. And you dating this person for a few months, you have sex with them, then the stuff fizzle out, you end it, you by yourself for a little while, then you meet somebody else that you like, you have sex with them because y'all really vibing, everything is going well for a while, and then that starts fizzling out. Y'all know the cycle. That starts going bad. Somebody starts switching up the routine, or folks start acting crazy, or just doing things that they weren't doing beforehand. And when you start confronting it, it starts an argument because they don't like the fact that you're checking them about something. That's fizzling out. So that relationship ends. Then you meet somebody else. You do the same cycle over and over and over. And you wonder why you can't meet anybody. You wonder why you can't, why you're not happy. You wonder why you're not meeting that person. Is because you keep attracting the same type of crap to you because you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And along the way, you're picking up all these spirits and just you're holding them all. And before you know it, you sad, you miserable, feeling like you about to go crazy. Like it's got to be more to life than that. It is. And we have to learn how to start doing things differently and get all this old stuff up off of us. Like, honestly, there was it was several years back. when I started doing, like, I have to do a private scope with just some females. So this is Facebook. I'm not going to put this all on Facebook. But how to spiritually and energetically break soul ties. I've done it. Okay? So if you want to know, just DM me. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. But yeah, the thing about it is, when a man loves you for you, then he will honor your decision. So if your decision is to abstain, he will honor that. You don't have to worry about, I want to be abstinent, but I might not meet anybody. Let me tell you something. If somebody walks away from you because you're trying to do something that is for the improvement of your spirit and your soul, then you need to let them walk, because they are not God's best for you. You need to let them go. You have the power of the D. You have the power to make the decision to let somebody go when they show you that they are not really supportive of the things that you're trying to do for your spiritual, mental, and physical and emotional health. So don't ever be afraid of practicing abstinence. Okay? Don't ever be afraid of being rejected because that's something that you choose to do. If somebody rejects you, then they're not for you. You want somebody that's going to be supportive. Let me tell you something about my husband. I think I might have shared in the last live stream. When we went out on our first, date or whatnot, if you want to go, we went out on our first date. I told him, I said, you know what? I like you, but I'm about to go on a sabbatical. I'm not going to date anybody. I just really need some time to get myself together spiritually. And I was straight honest with him, And he said, you know what? I support that. He didn't try to debate me about it. He said, I support you. I'll be here when you finish. I did that sabbatical for 9 months. I didn't talk to anybody of the opposite sex except for people I was already cool with. That was just friends of mine. But I didn't go on any dates. I wasn't on the phone with guys and stuff. I wasn't doing that, because I was really taking that time to try to get myself together, get myself in alignment. And when I ended my sabbatical in October of I started it in May of 2014. And when I ended it in October of 2014, guess who was right there? And he asked me out to breakfast. And 2 months later asked me to marry him. The thing about it is, he didn't try to, tell me you wrong for that. What you want to do that for? You should be. No, he said, you know what? I support you in that. I'll be right here when you get back. When you finish, I'll be here. And he was right there. Anybody that has your best interest at heart, they're going to support you in doing something that you're trying to do that's for the betterment of you. They're not going to have their own selfish desires in the way. You understand? So if you say, I'm trying to practice celibacy, or I'm trying to be abstinent right now, and they try to tell you why you should not be, or when you get around them, they're always trying to get you to break your vow that you've made to yourself. That means that they are selfish. This is like what I said last week. We got to start looking at the fruit that people, produce. Are they operating out of selfishness, or are they operating out of concern for you? We got to look at the things that people do, and we can't ignore it. We can't make excuses, especially, you're in your late 20s, your early 30s, when you're ready to get married. You can't afford to waste time on foolishness. You can't afford to make excuses for somebody else's behavior and say, they just might be doing. No, they're doing that because that's who they are. And you're seeing this for a reason, and you need to pay attention to it, because you have the power of the D. You have the power to make the decisions, so that after you get in the situation, you don't have to be regretful, or be sad, or be depressed, or anything like that. Because if you take your time to see what somebody's about, they'll show you. Just don't make excuses for what you see, regardless of how much you like them. Accept that it is what it is. and make your decision based on the things that they are showing you, based on how they respond to situations, based on how they respond to you. Okay? Because, you know, you can do a lot with your life. You can do a lot with your time, but we want to make sure that everything that you do is intentional. Our decisions have our actions, everything that we do has to be intentional, because if it's not intentional, all you're doing is wasting your time. And who has time to waste? At 30 years old, at 33, 34 years old, who has time to waste? If you are not intentional about what you're doing and why you are doing it, you are wasting your time, and you're going to end up in a situation that you're going to regret. And I'm pretty sure that after, who wants to keep reliving that over and over and over again? So we have to execute the power of the D, decisions. And we have to make sure that we make wise and calculated decisions, and that the decisions that we make in terms of who we choose to involve ourselves in is in alignment with what we say we want in life, is in alignment with where we say we want to go, and is in alignment with the type of relationship we ultimately want to have, which for most of us is either, you know, marriage or some type of long-term strong, commitment. If what you're doing is not in alignment with that, then stop doing it. Point blank, period. And make a different decision. Choose differently so that you can get a different result. All right? That's all that I have for you guys tonight. I do hope that you guys enjoyed Candid Conversations. Everything that I talk about, discussed in my book, 20 Pearls of Wisdom, A Woman's Guide to Self-Preservation. And actually, one section of this book, of my book, is entitled The Pearls of Love and Relationships. And so you can pick this up at www.authorjasminewomack.com/shop. That's www.authorjasminewomack.com/shop. If you want to grab a copy of my book, 20 Pearls of Wisdom. And you can also go to my website, authorjasminewomack.com, to read an excerpt of the book. Okay, so I thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Even if you're watching the replay, if you're on Periscope, you can share this out with your broadcast and double tap the screen to give me some hearts. And if you are on Facebook, and if you happen to be watching the replay, you can tap that little thumb, the blue thumb. You can tap it. And you can also share this out, because the more likes we get, the more views we get, the more people will see it. It'll help it with the Facebook algorithm. And so I would really appreciate that. My name is Jasmine Womack. I am the Self-Love Empowerment Specialist. You can follow me on Instagram at Author Jasmine Womack, and on Facebook at Author Jasmine Womack as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week for Candid Conversations. If you have anything that you would like for me to discuss in terms of relationships, please shoot me a message in the DM, or you can find me on social media and drop a comment under one of the statuses there. All right, I hope that you guys have a great Thursday night. See you all later. Bye.